project.
Jana, so I have a question about how one would use VS Code. Do you use a screen reader? Is that how people use it?
Well, I use both a screen reader and a Braille display, but there are people who use one or the other.
I see.
Exclusively.
So I think a really big issue is syntax highlighting or syntax coloring.
Yes.
And, so for example, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a Braille display, but I can imagine that, that the display could be encoded so that as you run your fingers over, say, the beginning of a line of code, and, maybe the syntactical category will be green or maybe red. There could be a little something that you feel that indicates that, and that would be a tremendous help to people using this.
Yep. And they do that with attributes on the Braille display. Just if you're reading in a text document or something,
I
you
see.
can set up. There are like a couple of cells at the beginning that you can set up for status cells,
Right.
and it can give you different attributes that you choose. And each driver, like for the Braille display, is different on what it will be able to put there for you. But as far as I'm aware, there's not any of that that's been specific to to the Visual Studio.
So it seems to me a good way to address this problem, because it requires a great deal of technical expertise by very good developers to do this. But VS Code is put out by Microsoft, and they have quite a lot of resources.
Yep.
So it seems to me that a good avenue would be for blind coders, for example, or some organization, to try to get a meeting with Microsoft and bring this problem. I mean, begin by bringing the problem to their attention and seeing if you could work with them.
Right.
And and then if you don't get cooperation, then you could, of course, apply pressure in other ways. I think that would be the most effective way of proceeding on this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that could be part of the Holman Prize too. I was thinking that part of it really is going to be about networking both with mainstream companies and with places that work with blind people to kind of make one another aware of what the issues are. And and I do know that they have done a lot of work on it, and it's gotten a lot better. So they are committed. I'm just sometimes surprised at the things that won't do. Like I was saying, when I go like to the error screen, and then it's like really hard. I mean, it's just like complicated to jump back and forth and find where I need to be in that. And I think there are ways that could be easier than it is right now.
Right. It would be interesting to know whether they have an advisory group of non-sighted programmers, because they really need that. And they need a test group also.
Exactly. And one of the things that some of the blind folks were talking about in the other meeting was that people who create like the software that we use, like the screen readers and the Braille displays, need to understand too that there are high level. They were saying that there's a lot of tutorials and things online for people who are just sort of beginning users of these products, but it can be hard to find really advanced ones that would tell you how to really efficiently. I mean, you can get it to tell you the color of something.
Right.
If it's coded correctly, sometimes it isn't. It'll just say like default on default, so you don't know what color that is. But but a lot of times we don't necessarily know like the keystrokes to use to get that to that feedback. So
I'm going to jump in here a little bit from the conversation Jana and Jim have had.